question for yourself. Who could be against that? Who could disagree with that? Who could disagree with standing for the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, versus the global governance offer of total tyranny and neo-feudalistic serfdom, bondage, having your resources incrementally cut off, having your future avenues destroyed, having men and women turned against each other, having our elders treated like garbage to be thrown away, having unwanted babies torn from their mother's wombs, that greatest place of safety, and used for medical experiments. The truth is written on your soul. Your code of conduct is written on your heart and your mind. You know right and wrong. A child knows right and wrong. Whether they be a poor, starving African in Somalia or some rich, middle-class banker's son in the Netherlands. You have the truth written on your heart. You know right from wrong. And so the system uses excuses and tells you you don't have power and tells you you're not a leader and whispers in your ear and tells you you're bad and you're evil. So you aren't allowed to stand up and speak out. You need to sit down and let the experts do it. And don't listen to that leader. Don't listen to that group. Don't get involved with this organization. Just sit there ninnying. No, ladies and gentlemen, you know that you are good. You know that you have the light of God in your eyes. You know that you want justice. And so now I ask you on the eve of 2010 to take up your destiny in your hands, to get on the battlefield and stand against evil. We will have Decade in Review. Again, I can't put out disinfo consciously. Doesn't mean we don't make mistakes, but it is not the end of the decade, as the media is saying. The new millennium did not start. The new decade did not start. The new century did not start in 2000. January 1st, 2000. That's just not true. January 1st, 2001. But the media and the public have been saying since 98 that the new millennium began in 2000. And so we will review the decade. And review the decade of lies, corruption, Big Brother, the language being destroyed, open lies being practiced like never before, the 9/11 lie. I mean, they claim they killed different al-Qaeda leaders, some of them 15, 20 times apiece, and they would never rescind the last time they killed them. And they would claim they captured Chemical Ali 3, 4, 5 times, and then claim they killed him again and then captured him again. I mean, they claim that this is the end of the decade tonight at midnight in your time zone. It's not. There's a whole other year left. They might come out next week and say there's 497 days in a year. There's 365. That's what it takes for the planet to orbit around the sun. But they might just say there's 5,000 days in a year. When the Illuminati took over France in the French Revolution, they went to a 10-day, then they changed it to a 9-day week. What, a 50-something day month? I mean, they're into that. They're into playing God. They're into genetic engineering. They're into weather manipulation. The globalists like to play God. So how do you have a decade in review when it's not a decade? Well, whatever. We're going to look at the last 9 years, okay? Or since they're trying to change the common era to decades and centuries and millenniums ending a year before they really do, we'll just look at all right, see, I'm starting to obsess over this. It doesn't matter. But it does matter. That just everything is a fraud. They distort everything to where you can't even find out what the truth is anymore. I don't know what to think of last night's TV show. It is the episode that I feature most heavily in. I'm the only person that comes back repeatedly in different episodes. And I'm told if it gets picked up again, I'm going to be an even bigger part of the show, which I'm very honored to be the only person other than Jesse Ventura that's a repeat visitor to Jesse Ventura's conspiracy theory. And I know that the crew have become completely convinced of the New World Order while making the film. I know Time Warner has had their fingers somewhat in it, and you can certainly see where that's manifest. It's done as entertainment. It's done with kind of a shocking, dramatized way, but this is dramatic, sensational material. It is designed for the general public, and I find it very entertaining. I mean, I don't usually watch entertainment shows, and I never watch reality TV. What I've seen of it, I hate. This is the best reality TV I've ever seen. But it is popcorn for the brain, but it does actually have some vitamins in it. It's not devoid of information. In fact, it's chopped full of it. I was really tired last night, and I didn't feel like watching myself on television. I've been invited out to California to see, some of the finished product of the TV shows, and I didn't even do that. I consulted on it heavily, one of the main consultants on the show. But then I watched some clips of it when I was out there doing shoots or brainstorms or recommending people for them. But I didn't want to watch it last night, so I didn't. I read a book instead. Hadn't read it in probably 15 years, so I started reading A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. That's how it opens. And so I stayed up till about 11 reading that book. So I got up this morning, and I did watch the TV show, and I almost don't know what to say. The global warming episode is as near to perfect as it can get. And that's the one I'm really proud of. I heavily consulted on that. I also massively consulted, recommended basically everybody you see interviewed, Monteith, Estelin, all of them. This is the top show right now on True TV, by the way. And they re-air it all throughout the week. I was looking at the numbers. Upwards of 10 million people watch this a week. 1.7 million when it first premieres, then over and over again, and they're going to keep re-airing the series. So, conservatively, hundreds of millions will end up seeing this in the aggregate and the sum total. And the TV show hasn't shaken me up. It's more, it hasn't scrambled my brain. That's not the word. I'm having to assess this. And I'm so busy with other issues, I just kind of have to give the problem to my brain and then let it marinate and percolate, and a punch card will pop out. Might be 3 a.m. next week, might be an hour from now. I mean, I know all the different sum parts of how this got on air, why it got on air, some of what went on behind the scenes with Time Warner, what this signifies, them allowing this on air. Even though I featured myself personally more prominently in this episode than any other episode, this was my least favorite last night. But it put out the most powerful info ever released on mainstream television, ever. There's no debating that the cat was let out of the bag last night with this production.